Right, so hello. Sorry, I've got a bit of a weird throat now. I started trying to talk. I'll be doing a stream, but it'll be quite a short one tonight, as in 20 to 30 minutes, because I'm already quite tired. Because I've just had a really load of busy days in a row, so I've got a chance to stream now, but I'm still quite tired and sort of, don't have the energy to do a long one. So I thought I'd say hello to everybody and at least do a short stream. It's 20 to 30 minutes or whatever. Then I'll probably go straight to bed in all honesty, or have a shower and then go to bed or whatever. But yeah. Ukulele, hello. So as usual, Easter Sunday was actually the first Sunday I've had off in months, but the only issue was, or maybe like 2 months, but the only issue was that I still had loads of stuff to do, even though it wasn't a work day officially. So it was still a very tiring day Sunday. What's today, Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday today. So I've been doing stuff today, but thankfully I haven't had loads to do today. Anyway, hopefully some people come on in a bit. Looks like I've got a bit of dirt on my shirt there. Need a curry I had for dinner. So yeah, ignore that. All right, Dan. I'll only be on about 20 odd minutes tonight, I'm afraid, just because of the fact that I'm already quite tired and I've got a load of other stuff I need to do before I go to bed. So I just want to get a stream in, do one. Yeah, that guy, if you mean in terms of like work and everything, yeah. Yeah, it's good shirt. It's annoying about the stain, but I think that's where I just had my dinner. I must have splashed it with some curry sauce. But it was an MRE chicken korma, like in the video that I uploaded today that I filmed a couple of days ago. But those are actually really tasty, weirdly. And because I bought a load of them, I thought I'll have another one tonight rather than, actually cook something properly. But those MREs are surprisingly tasty, actually. As in you just put water in them for 5 minutes and that's it. They taste a lot better than a lot of supermarket meals as well, which is good. With like 3 days on the expiration date, these have 4 years on them. And again, I know they're high in fat and salt, but whatever. All right, Davey? All right, I'm going to actually turn that light off for now because it's dazzling my eye. Yeah, Dan, well, the thing is, as long as it has the same ingredients in as something that's fresh, it should be all right. But yeah, these are quite good in terms of, like, these taste all right. Yeah, don't blame me for masking up because, like I said, I've had COVID twice now, technically, where I've tested positive twice, a couple of months apart. But yeah, glad that you're feeling a little bit better from it, Justin. But yeah, it can be quite nasty, can't it? Especially like the fatigue I found, like where days where you felt really fluey and couldn't get out of bed. But yeah, I won't get time to film it tonight now because I'm already feeling too tired. But all right, Mike, I'll definitely film a video within the next couple of days on some French body armor I bought. It hasn't got the panels in, but I can at least talk about it, which seems quite good. And I bought it because I saw a load of soldiers using it in Ukraine, and I thought, that looks like French camo pattern, and I looked it up, and you could get them quite cheap on eBay. So I'll do a video on that. I'll probably compare it to an ECBA, because it's like better protection than ECBA, but not as good as a proper plate carrier. It's sort of one of those halfway house kind of body armors, where it's like essentially a Kevlar vest with a bit of a collar to it, and then a panel in the front and the back. Right, VAC? All right, cheers, Byron. I appreciate that. Because of the war in Ukraine, for obvious reasons, that if you've got a country that's using CBRN weapons indiscriminately, people might want CBRN protection. And that's literally it. Same reason body armor and everything else has gone up. So yeah, Mike, today was the only day I didn't have to do loads of other jobs except the stuff I was expecting to do when I got up. But yeah, some of the other days recently, I was hoping Sunday would be my day off, and I think I did more work on that Sunday than when I'm actually at work properly on the Sunday. I don't know, because I've not looked at FM12s for a while. Yeah, I've got it in the background. Can't pick it up on the stream for obvious reasons, but it is really cool. I can definitely see why it was a cool design. And, like I said, I can see why it caught on and everything else. Yeah, I mean, it's not a price I'd recommend paying for it. I could definitely see why people could get away with charging that at the moment. So yeah, my plan is tomorrow to do a video at some point on that body armor whenever I get a chance. And then if I get a time to do another video, I'll do another video for Friday. But if not, I'll just do a couple more streams. No, I haven't heard of anything like that, Grant. Unless you mean like CBRN protection, we're definitely sending them stuff like that because of the fact that Russia's using chemical weapons. Yeah, that strap's actually the GSR's bag strap because I ordered a sling for it and the sling took a lot longer to come. So I thought, wonder if that clips on. It clipped on fine. Well, yeah, I thought I'd just hang it out like that because it's quite lightweight. It hangs up fine on a single hook. Right, Zab? Yeah, Grant, if that's what you're on about, like CBRN defense stuff, we're definitely sending them that because of the fact that, Russia keeps threatening to nuke everybody. But yeah, if anybody can think of an interesting... Yeah, there was a video done, wasn't there, where they were like sorting out the good ones from the bad ones. And you do see Mark 6 and Mark 7s turn up quite a lot in Ukraine. Because I think we basically just sent them for free already, cheap over the years. Oh, cool, JJ. Is that the shotgun-looking thing? But yeah, that's cool. Obviously, it's a bolt-action Lee Enfield, isn't it? But it's got like the big sort of grenade barrel thing at the end. There's no replicas behind me. If you're looking at the AT4, that's a real AT4, but it's fired and then deactivated. Oh, and cheers, Grant. But yeah, basically what that is I've got a video on it, but it's a real AT4, which is it the M136 in US use, but it's called the AT4 in Britain and like a few other countries. And it's like a one-off, anti-tank weapon. So basically, you lift it up, you do all the arming process, you shoot it, and then you throw the tube away. The N-Law is the replacement for it, because that was called the I-Law, technically. Personally, Byron, I wouldn't. Weapon Collector, who's on here, has done a lot of videos like that, so I'd just say check him out if you want to look at videos like that, because he's got all the machine tools to sort of do it. I've done a couple of old videos doing like DIY sort of bayonets and stuff like that by getting old kind of like rusty knives and screwdrivers and sort of modifying them to fit on a pole, like a spear or whatever. But I've not got any sort of drills or anything out. Well, I've got drills, but I've not got all the lathes and sort of everything where you'd be able to do those to a good standard. It's actually quite hard VAC as well, with like a lot of very modern stuff as well, where like airsoft copies exist as well. Couldn't legally do that in the UK, so no, I've not done it. As far as I'm aware, you can't legally make them. Yeah, Justin, I think Mike said Ash versus the Evil Dead is good. But yeah, I've never actually got round to watching it, but I probably should at some point. It's just one of those things where my backlog for sort of watching films is really long at the moment. Again, just not enough hours in the day. Oh, and thanks again, Grant, if I didn't just say thanks again. So sausage and, what, is that a cake? At the moment, I do want to get round to watching a load of TV and films again. I've just not got round to it, just due to, again, if you're working 7 days a week, even if it's only a few hours some days, and a couple of days it's, like 9-hour shifts, sometimes you just don't feel like watching a film. Because some days I just literally feel like getting home from work and going to bed. Are you saying you've just watched it, JJ? Or are you asking me if I've watched it? I've watched it and I prefer the David Lynch one. It's not bad, the new one. Yeah, that's basically my thoughts. It's not bad. I don't regret watching it, but I still like the David Lynch one a hell of a lot more. Right, if it's illegal where you are, don't admit to doing it, but I'm glad the FP5 worked right for you. Right, in the book, JJ, everybody technically has guns, but they don't use guns because the shields, if having a shield's hit by a gun, it causes a nuclear explosion. But technically they do have all the tech for guns, but they don't use them. Which is kind of why I just liked in the David Lynch one more, that for the most part everybody just uses guns because it makes it a bit more simple if you're watching it to understand. Whereas in the book and everything, there's kind of like all the tiers of equipment the soldiers can use, but like some of the equipment they have they can't use because of the countermeasures to it. Didn't even know there was a new Matrix, but all right. I mean, I might have known there was a new Matrix, and it's just completely slipped my mind that it existed. That's not a GSR there. That's technically down the FRR or whatever it is. The 40mm one. The proper 40mm one. Not a GSR with the thing removed. So yeah, that's the one I did a video on, the FRR. I've got one of the Chinese concave filters on it, a bit like the FM53 filters that are meant to look more compact, because I just think it looks quite cool with that on it. Right, I don't know if I've played Emperor Battle for Dune, but I'm assuming these are all the Westwood ones, right? I've played Dune 2 or Dune 2000, which is like slightly more modern, like Command and Conquer Red Alert tier, sort of semi-remake of it. But was Emperor Battle for Dune the one with the live action? Well, Dune 2000 had live action cutscenes, but you know what I mean? Like the one that was slightly more modernised. If so, I've watched all the cutscenes from that because they're basically lifted from the David Lynch film, but I've not actually played it. Yeah, no bayonet filters on this. If you're looking at that from the side, I can see why you think it's a bayonet filter, but it's actually like their weird blanking plug thing. Yeah, the I wonder if I can get that to sit under the helmet and draw it. That would look better in the background like that. That's not perfect, but I might as well just do that. I was going to say, JJ, wouldn't it be more like CNC Generals if it was 3D? But yeah, I guess that's the period they made it in. Yeah, the annoying thing is, I really wish like the CNC remake they did of the original Red Alert, they do those for like the more modern Westwood games. I don't think they've ever bothered. But yeah, Dune 2000 is quite good as well. And it's got a couple of famous actors in the cutscenes for Dune 2000, including the bloke who plays Gimli in Lord of the Rings. He plays the Atreides bloke in it. Not Duke Leto, but like the person who's meant to be like the Atreides general. I don't think he's in the film, but because they've also got an equivalent of like Peter de Veers for the Harkonnens, but I don't think he's actually called Mentat, de Veers or whatever in like the credits. He's called Mentat something or else. But, he does by will alone, I set my mind in motion is by the juices of who the lips acquire, whatever it is, the lips acquire stains, that thing. He does all that, but and he's meant to obviously look like Brad Dourif, but it's not Brad Dourif playing him. Good, Byron. I've not finished it yet. Like I said, most days if I play it, I only play about an hour. But yeah, I'm still really enjoying it. Yeah, if you haven't seen it, look up June 2000 because again, that's one of the good Westwood ones that from. And again, if somebody did like a CNC remake, you know, like the CNC remastered thing of June 2000, that would be fucking amazing because the soundtrack's great for it because it's Frank Klepacki but doing the music in the style of sort of David Lynch's June. So there's a track in it that's good called Harkonnen Battle, which has the motif from the Baron Harkonnen's theme, the Flying Fat Man. But you know, it's cool electric guitar stuff. I suppose June is as well, isn't it? The David Lynch one because it's prog rock. But you know, again, it's like if you like Frank Klepacki, it's like him doing a version of the Toto soundtrack. Again, it's a really interesting game, but it's one of the ones that's not as well known. There's like a lot of the Command and Conquers. Yeah, it's for the security of NATO, which Finland will be joining in a couple of months. Yes. Anyway, as it's coming up to 8 o'clock, I have to be off soon. I said, not because I don't want to be on longer, it's just I'm tired and I've already got a couple of other jobs to do this evening. So I thought I'd hop on a bit earlier tonight, at least get a bit of a stream done, you know, when I had the chance to do one, rather than doing what I've done on a couple of days and think, I'll stream about 9 p.m. and then just felt too tired by the time that's come around. Yeah, I said I want to get another video, at least one more uploaded this week, and it's mostly likely going to be the French body armor one I do it on. There's 2 body armor videos I want to do soon. One on the French body armor I've got, and one on the old Northern Ireland Mark II body armor, because it's like the ECBA before the ECBA was a thing. I just find it interesting. But the French one is probably the one I'll do next, just because they're turning up in Ukraine. It'll probably be quite interesting for people. And again, for a 90s bit of body armor, it looks quite competent. But again, I don't have the fillers for it. But, you know, just in terms of how it's set out, where the plate sits, size of the plate, it looks quite good. It would really depend where you're from, Aleko, because my accent is probably quite a bad one, according to a lot of people. Oh, it's relatively compact, JJ. It's not a proper plate carrier. It's like the ECBA, but with a bit of a collar to it. Or if you're on about the Northern Ireland vest, the Mark II is the compact one. The Mark I is the really thick, heavy flak jacket. The Mark II was like the Kevlar one. It's basically an ECBA before the ECBA existed, but with slightly smaller plates. Well, I certainly couldn't develop one, Grant. Even if I'd like to, I don't have the industrial tooling to make one. But mostly eBay VAC, but from some other sites as well. But annoyingly, with some of YouTube's policies now, I can't list some of the sites because some of the stuff they sell is against YouTube's policies to advertise where they sell them. Even though you're allowed to do videos on them, it's stupid, but that's just the way it works now. That might be a way of doing it, Byron, but I've never actually looked into that. What, like, as in they hold it at a locker or something? But I do know in some of the places like that, you do have to pay a charge for it. And that's why it's not worth it. Because if you get the post office to do your PO box, it's like £200 a year, which is just silly. And again, I know some of the places you can do collect from a store, but it has to be done through a certain scheme. You can't just simply, you know, mail something to an Argos yourself. It has to be sold through eBay to do that. There's still words, Leko, where if I pronounce them, it's not the proper British way of saying it, or like not the proper English way of saying it. Like 3 is my best example. You know, as if I'm saying like P3 filter or whatever. That I would say like number 3 and, you know, 3 as in it doesn't cost anything, like pretty much the exact same way. But apparently you're meant to say 3, aren't you? Like THRE, like 3, like that, 3. But like if it's number 3, but who the fuck does that in most parts of the UK? Like, I don't go water, like, instead of water, but there are words where, you know, like several very phonetically similar words, you just pronounce them as the same thing. Yeah, I get shit for that all the time, Mike, especially from people where you think, if English isn't your first language, why is this even a problem, you know? if you know it will be one of two things, you can easily, differentiate which thing somebody's talking about. The thing that surprises me, JJ, well, not surprised me, but is when people that don't speak English as a first language, you send them all the regional dialects from the UK of English, Scottish English, Welsh English, like Yorkshire English and all that. One of the reasons I find that really funny is that lots of people in other countries don't realise that the accents vary and some of the words vary even across the same country, or landmass sort of thing. I'm afraid I'm off in a minute, bloody Monday. I was on a bit earlier tonight just to do quite a short stream, but yeah, if you hear the massive variety of accents and dialects and all that we have across a couple of 100 miles, it's a bit insane. Because in the US, obviously a lot of the southern accents are different from the Maine or New York accents. I get all that, but it's just apparently for some people it's really weird, just how different we sound. Tired from all the work bloody Monday, but other than that, not too bad, thanks. My main issue on Sunday is I thought Sunday I'll get a good nice day of not doing much because I had the day off work because it was Easter Sunday. I went to see my granddad, which was nice, and he had a couple of jobs for me, which I said I didn't mind doing. But I didn't realise when he says, I've got a couple of jobs for you, it meant, can you do a load of random jobs around the house and repair all the panels in my greenhouse? Yeah, see, Danny, that's the interesting thing, isn't it? And it's something that a lot of people don't seem to understand with accents, that it can be, and again, people joke about this, but sometimes people with a Glaswegian accent is actually much harder for us to understand than people from far-flung corners of the earth speaking English. I guess it's the same if you're in Glasgow and somebody's speaking English with another completely different regional English accent. They can just sound really weird. And that's before you even get into different words, where in some parts of the UK people have literally different words for the same actual dictionary word, local expressions for them. What was it, bairns or whatever it is for kids in the north? Instead of grandkids or kids, it's my bairns or whatever it is. Exactly, Mike, exactly. For my granddad, I don't mind doing it because, he's at the age where if he tries to do that stuff, he'll injure himself. But it's more just at the moment, every fucking day, it's been every 30 minutes. So I've got a little job for you. And it's never a little job. Yeah, that's a good one. I can't show it at the moment because I got it with my vest at the person I walk the dogs with house. I just hang it up there. But yeah, those Milltec 2-litre canteens are much better than their knockoffs of the British Army canteens, because that one was absolute shit. It really pissed me off, that canteen. Because that was the one where the actual S10 respirator bottle caps don't fit to it. It's meant to be a replica, but it's got a different pitch of screw thread on it. And even with its official screw cap, it wouldn't make a proper seal and would leak. But this thing is, an actual proper canteen. You can fill it completely full, shake it upside down, and it won't leak water. And it's got a fairly good carrier with it. Both the belt sort of strap thing and the carry sort of strap, so you can carry it with or without any sort of webbing or whatever. Again, Mike, that's another weird thing, isn't it? All those sort of things. But again, I just find it funny when, like you're saying, you get people that don't speak English as a first language, and then they hear one of these other sort of dialects from around the UK or, wherever, and they're surprised how different it sounds. Is that weans, as in wee ones, as in small people, like the kids? That one makes more sense to me, weans, because I'm sure even my grandparents used to say weans, and they're from the south of the UK. If that's the one you're yeah, that's what, again, it's some of them just don't have any, and then that's before you even get into Cockney rhyming slang and all that. Because one my boss's is from London, so he can literally do that to piss people off. When he's normally talking to people, he never uses Cockney rhyming slang. But if he wants to just annoy people, he'll start doing all the Cockney, words and things, apple and pears rather than stairs. So people just look at him confused. Yeah, obviously, bear in mind it's more weight on one side than if you had like a little canteen, but at least it's like I said, at least it's like if you're carrying water for you or somebody else, it's got enough in there. Because the problem with smaller canteens, I often find, is you get like a couple of mouthfuls from each canteen and then they're empty. I mean, I've heard the term Rugrats before, but I always think of like the little animated TV series that people say Rugrats. My favourite Cockney rhyming thing, I like the real Osprey canteen, not the knockoff one. Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying, Dan. But the knockoff one didn't change parts of the real one. But yeah, the one that really makes me laugh is Berkeley Hunt, which is cunt. Because if you ever just hear somebody say he's a Burke, it means he's a cunt. And this is like flying under the radar stuff. Or if you ever watch Heidi High, you know, the old British thing, like about the person like knockoff Butlins. It's not Pontins, is it? What's the one called in Heidi High? It's going to annoy me now. Like, I can't think what the actual name of, like, you know, the fake Butlins is called in that there. But one of the like blokes always calls other characters a Burke, even though it's like, you know, a rated U or PG thing, because he's actually calling him a cunt. But because it's, you know, like short Cockney rhyming slang, people don't know. It's the funny stuff of you know, where if you don't know the words, they used to be able to get away with putting this stuff in shows. Now they don't anymore, which is the sad thing. You know, there used to be so many innuendos and all that in this stuff you would not get away with today. Matt Plins, yes, thank you, Mike, because in one of the summer shows we did, like the charity summer shows, you might even remember this if I said it years ago, I played, was it Mr. Partridge, who's like the belligerent Punch and Judy man, the old man, he hates the kids. And in the episode, he's always fucking drinking, and during the day, you know, he's got like his little hip flask of whiskey, and he's just knocking it back. And then he's just finding amusement where like a kid fell over and needed stitches, and basically all he's saying in like cleaner language is like, "Those horrible fucking kids, you know, I'm really happy when they hurt themselves." And that's all his character is like a miserable old cunt. That I thought I was quite a fun bloke to play actually for one of those. But yeah, that was one I think the most fun one of those like some shows, along with Allo Allo. Those are like the sort of period where you do them because they're not so kid based that they're quite. Some of the jokes in them are proper dirty if you take long enough to you know. Yeah, I've got them all on DVD, Mike, because those and Allo Allo are like the ones that now and again will turn up on Amazon for like $5 for the entire box set of, you know, every series they did. You know, I was speaking to somebody earlier about Only Fools and Horses, how they had all the murals of the in Yugoslavia was the weird thing. I'll send them you on Twitter in a minute, Mike, if you don't know about this. But in Yugoslavia, they used to show Only Fools and Horses with subtitles like dub over or whatever on Yugoslavian television during the Cold War. And it was meant to be done as, look how these evil capitalists live. I have seen those, Mike, good, yeah. But and then it kind of backfired because all the people like, oh, it's poor people getting fucked over by rich people, and they all just ended up liking the character. All right, Rich, I'm afraid I'm going off now, and I really mean it this time. Which one's that from, Dan? Is that the bloke who got in Hello Hello? Like I heard a shit. Was it Crabtree? He was also the bloke I played when we did Hello Hello. The bummers and the fatters and everything else. They have been bumming us all night. Whenever it gets made, email, I don't know. Yeah, you're on about Officer Crabtree, Dan, yes. Because one of the scenes where I was playing him was where I'm bent over and I'm trying to get a package out my trousers because it's the fake Madonna of the big boobies, whatever it is, hidden inside a sausage. And so Rene's by me with his big, you know, like bratwurst or whatever it is, like salami thing. And then the gay German bloke comes in. Is it Gruber, the gay German? I can't remember. And he's like, "Oh, Rene, what are you doing?" Or he's got me like bent over. And it was all completely innocent because I had my trousers around my ankle because we were moving counterfeit artwork. But again, if you know Hello Hello and all those sort of old sitcoms are pretty funny stuff. On my hard drive somewhere, or like on the old PCs, I might have the pictures from that. So I wouldn't mind sending them to somebody like Mike. I wouldn't post them publicly, even though it was like done as a public performance, but you'd find them funny. Anyway, right. Yeah, they did a remake of Porridge, didn't they, like a year ago, and it was absolute fucking shit. Like, why do they bother? You know, like where the humor does not translate when they try and do those stuff, but make it like modern PC humor. Anyway, have a good evening, everybody. Thank you to anybody that joined up or donated. I do appreciate it, and I'll be off to bed fairly soon. But yeah, have a good evening. See you all. Goodbye. Auf Wiedersehen. Farewell.